Oh no, that's one of the director's Zoom. So I think he's logged in to one of our directors' Zoom, but
No, it's just chill listening to us right now.
all right.
What is they swearing on the ear, or are they? You missed it.
Okay, we are going on air in 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at WRFL. The frequency is a cool 88.1 megahertz with winds coming in all the way to the left. The in-flight entertainment for this journey has been provided by Radio Free Lexington, your only alternative left. For your safety and comfort, please stay tuned with your seatbelts fastened until the plane comes to a complete stop. Please check around your seat for any commercial radio trash you may have brought on board with you and deposit it in the bin as you disembark from the aircraft. On behalf of RFL Airlines and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you tuned in again soon.
All right, good evening. It is 9:01 p.m. and you're listening to WRFL Lexington. This is WRFL Live, a weekly show that airs 9 to 10 p.m. where we feature local bands, we chat with them, we hear some music from them, and it's a great time. My name is Allison, and I'm the local music director, and I am here with Taylor Road Band. So hello, you guys. So I actually wanted, before we get started with some music, I wanted to go around and introduce yourselves, say your name, and what instrument you play.
I guess I'll go first. I'm Stephen Lynch. I play lead guitar.
I'm Brandon Pike. I play the drums. I'm Jackson Ward. I play bass, and I'm the lead singer.
I'm Cam Davis. I play rhythm guitar, and I'm attempted lead singer.
Very cool. Well, it's very nice to meet you all. I think we're going to hop right into the first song, so I'm going to air that right now.
The city in the sand, what's it worth? Some say
Yeah. So that was Taylor Road Band with Reno. So I know there's a little bit of a backstory with this song. Do you all kind of want to talk about that?
Mr.
Yeah,
Moore.
for sure. Basically, so I wrote, and of course, once we put it through all the band members, it changes a ton. But I actually wrote this song about a year ago after the passing of my cousin from a drug overdose. So that's really what the song is about. Is like that folly of addiction. And I think especially living in Kentucky, small, middle or what was central Kentucky. That's what I was saying. There's a lot of that going around. Our communities are getting torn apart by that. And I think that's really what the song is about, is that folly of addiction.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. And I think with a lot of music nowadays, I feel like they glorify drug use, and that's seen across rock, hip hop, a lot of different genres of music. So I think it's really inspiring that you not only wrote this song, in memory of your cousin, but also, kind of, I'm assuming you're wanting the audience to kind of get a clear message from this song.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool. So you said you started writing it over a year ago. So what was kind of the process for that? So you wrote it, recorded it. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so what I did was, about a year ago, I had an 8-track, and I just kind of like wrote and produced little songs on there. So I think originally, it had a much softer sound originally when I wrote it. Of course, whenever it got to the band, I was like, we should do this song. Everyone agreed. Everyone thought, it sounded good and all that. We did it. It took on kind of a life of its own. So I definitely say this version is not the same as the one I wrote about it.
Yeah, he come into the garage and brought just a little simple chord progression and was like, this is what I got. And we threw all of our styles on it and made it what it is.
That's really cool. So then tell me about your all's individual styles and how that kind of merges into the Taylor Road Band.
Well, we're all under the rock spectrum, but it's different corners. I grew up listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan and Angus Young and people like that, kind of on the bluesier side, and then I got into heavier stuff. So my style is heavier, like chords and stuff, but the solos are really kind of bluesy based.
For me, I started playing at a really young age, and I've always just been on that heavier kind of side of the rock spectrum. And here recently, well, in the last few years, I should say, I've started including more groovy kind of stuff into my playing, and I've found a good balance between those, and I've just kind of thrown it in together. I said that'd be my style of play. I think Reno showcases that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I similar. I've been playing since I was really young, and I've always been more into like kind of the indie rock, Cage the Elephant. Big fan of them, White Stripes, things like that. And then, I really played mostly that as far as rock and roll goes. And then I know about a year ago is when I decided to pick up a bass, and then that altered, the way I play a lot too, because it's a lot more rhythmic based. So.
I usually just play what either Steve or Jackson tells me to play. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So I mostly grew up on like your late 70s, early 80s kind of rock, Van Halen, Motley Crue, a lot of 80s hair metal. Then I got into the 90s. I started playing, I think, back in middle school, and I mean. I'm play mostly like simple stuff. I love power chords. I do love power chords. Something simple enough where you can sit there and nod the head and groove to. Or throw a fist through a wall if you really want to get fired up.
That's really cool that you all have it's not kind of similar, but slightly varied styles. And so it's kind of interesting to hear what you all kind of grew up on and kind of listen to now and how that kind of fits together as one single band. So can you talk about how did you all meet? Did you all, are you all from the same city? Did you all meet each other in Kentucky?
We're from Harrodsburg.
Okay.
We're from
We're from Boyle.
Boyle County, damn.
Yeah.
We haven't known each other. I've known him going on 2 years. We played in a band together before, and they were in a band together
How long
before.
have I known you for now, Ben?
Almost 2 years.
But you all went to school together.
Yeah, I've
And
known
knew
him
each other in
since
school.
high school. We've been
Yeah,
playing.
Davis and I went to high school.
We've been playing acoustic guitar, jamming Tom Petty songs in the
Yeah.
library for a long time.
And what ended up happening was both of our bands ended up not working out, and we just all got together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a few of their jam practices, and I was like, "That's cool." And I was like, "I know Steven likes rock because I talked to a few people." And I was like, "Hey, Steven, you want to come over and jam?" They're like, "Oh, sure. Like, well, we need a drummer." And I was like, "I know a guy."
This funny story. I was sitting on my couch one night in the living room watching TV, as I always do, and I get a DM from this guy on Instagram. He's like, "Hey man, heard you play drums." So it kind of
Yeah, that's how that is how I originally met you. I watched the Motley Crue movie, The Dirt, on Netflix, and after watching that, I was like, I've been playing guitar for a few years now. I'm like, I'm pretty good. I'm gonna hit some guys, see if I can start a band.
Yeah.
That's where I met this guy right here. It's crazy cat.
So wait, I know you said so for Cameron and Braden, you all were in a band together before.
Yeah.
Okay, what band was that?
That was that was Lockbox. The creativity of the name was perfect because we didn't have anywhere to jam, so we jammed in a storage unit in town, rented for a few months, and the name of the place was Lockbox. So I was like, pay homage to it.
Oh, okay, like Lockbox from here in Lexington, the restaurant, or no?
I get maybe.
Sure. There's a storage unit in Danville off of.
Oh, okay. The first Lockbox that popped into my mind was the Lockbox restaurant here in Lexington.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I hope they don't.
Yeah.
Copyright.
So then you all kind of got together about 2 years ago, and so kind of how was getting together, kind of writing music together up until now. So
We've
how did
actually
you?
been together since February.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
him and I were in
yeah.
a band for a year or so before we
Yeah.
started this one
And then me and
together.
him were in a band for.
Yeah. But
About a
us as a
year.
group
Yeah,
have only
so-
been together since February.
Oh, okay. So then, oh wow, you guys have you guys performed live
About-
since?
Multiple
Oh,
times.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
13,
we played a dozen or so gigs so far. We were supposed our first one was March or April, right when the COVID stuff happened. We were going to play
Mhm.
Tipsy Cow in Lexington,
got canceled.
Mhm.
the day
and it
before.
got shut down 3 days before our first gig. So we
Mhm.
had to wait till June. Actually, was our first gig, and we played between I want to say 12 and 15 shows since June to now.
So have they been in person or virtual shows?
In person.
In person.
In person shows?
Of course,
Yeah,
following the
I
COVID
think
law.
95% of them have been outside.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know a lot of so the Borough here in Lexington, they've been doing outdoor shows as well, and they've been doing tables, and people buy out the tables and they go and watch the bands play.
Similar to how they did it. We played Proud Mary over on the river.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
played
awesome.
Proud Mary. That's the highlight of our career so far.
Yeah.
We made it to Proud
Hey,
Mary.
4 hours of Proud Mary. That
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad about that. I love Proud Mary.
It's
Oh,
great.
It was a
food.
great
It's
place.
great
If
place.
we're going
Yes.
to product place. But anyway, yeah.
Let
So
us come play again, Proud Mary.
Yeah, so that was our biggest show, I'd say, in terms of it was our first 4-hour show that we played, and it was also for the most people.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, it had been whoever just so happened to be, in a small little restaurant at the time when we play, or, it would be for an event. So like people would be there, but it was mostly people we knew,
Mhm.
so it
It was really cool to
Yeah.
play in front of new
to
faces.
play,
Oh,
to play
yeah.
in front of people that didn't know who we were. And then at the end of the night, like the bartenders and stuff at Proud Mary were like, man, y'all are awesome. You need to come back.
And then everyone got
That
t-shirts.
felt good.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody, was like, y'all need to come back. They wanted t-shirts and stuff, and we're like, okay, please have us back again. I'll play every weekend, dude. We would be the house
Yeah.
band. Yeah, the house band at Proud Mary.
Well, that's awesome. That's actually very interesting because I think out of all the people that have been on WRFL Live for this fall, so since the beginning of September, they've all been they haven't had shows, or they've done like virtual streams, but they haven't had any shows. So it's interesting to meet a band that's like still playing live shows during the pandemic. Has that felt any different or any, I guess like I guess as normal as it could be? I don't know.
I've never played a show prior to this. I've actually never played a show pre-COVID PC. So.
We had us two
yeah.
had we played some gigs with our old band. We played at what was that place called? Parlay Social in downtown.
Yes.
I think it's a loser now. We played there
Mhm.
a few times, and it's been different in terms of like there's not as many people there, so you have to play with the same energy as if there was 100 people in there, and you know, and there's 50 in there actually. You know what I mean? So it makes you work harder because you still have to have that vibe that you're playing for thousands of people when you're playing for 10.
Yeah.
So that's just, and I think you would agree with that.
Yeah,
It's been the same in terms of like load in, you know, setup and everything else, but like the vibe has just been different because there's not as many people there, but you're still performing, you're putting on a show, so you still have to, you know, have energy and give it your all. I think that'd be the only difference is just the vibe. You have to adjust to the vibe of the venue.
That makes sense. Yeah. I feel like, well, if you say that you have to work a little bit harder now since there's less people, when it's post-pandemic, then it's just going to be, you guys will be fine. You'll be perfect.
I can't wait for that day to happen.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to take a short break, and then we're going to jump right into the next song. If that sounds good to you all.
Sounds good. Stay tuned, everybody.
Don't touch that dial.
Programming is made possible in programming is made. This portion of WRFL's programming is made possible in part by Pops Resale. Pops Resale offers a selection of vintage records, clothes, and other collectibles. Pops Resale is located in the Meadowthorpe Shopping Center. More information, including their show calendar, can be found at popsresale.com. WRFL thanks Pops Resale for supporting college radio.
All right, we are back here with the Taylor Road Band with WRFL Live, which airs every Wednesday, 9 to 10 p.m. And we are just about to jump into their next song, which is Save Me.
Just like a phoenix, I'm bound to smolder. Don't lie to me and call me a friend. Don't tell me things will get better when I get older. Don't tell me things don't have to end. Just like a stallion, I keep running. Say that you love me, well it just depends. Cause I'm moving like an intercontinental soldier. Wage you a war that I'll never win. You will take me away. You will fake me, change me in my ways. You should just save me, never look my way again. You should just leave me and save yourself the pain. Just like a century, I stay moving so that I won't have to mend. When I told you like a tutor, learn file a number, one more bridge I'll never mend. And I know what I reap is what I sow, so I can't let you in it all comes back. What I give is what I owe. Just like a phoenix, I'm bound to smolder. Don't lie to me and call me a friend. Don't tell me things will get better when I get older. Don't tell me things don't have to end. You can save me.
All right. That was Taylor Road Band with Save Me. And so do you guys want to talk a little bit more about this song?
That's another Jackson Ward original.
Yes. That's another one I wrote. I think that a big point whenever I was writing that song, a big thing I drew inspiration from, something I was thinking about was, it's obviously it's kind of a relationship song. I don't know if I call it a love song, but definitely a relationship song. I definitely think it's this message of someone who's struggling with commitment and struggling with the sacrifices needed to make something like that work. Is definitely a big theme that is in that song.
I actually remember whenever you wrote that song.
Yeah.
You were right there.
Yeah.
I was right here. It was like 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
I was writing this song. You was writing this
One
song.
of those days where you're up till 4 a.m.
But
writing music.
that's another example of he brought a chord progression to us, and we all just
Put it
threw
through
our,
a
threw our
machine.
own,
Yeah.
threw our own thing on it, and
Yeah.
it became
Came out the other end.
what it
Pretty
is.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I know the kind of trend I'm getting so far is a lot of these songs, I guess, stem from personal experiences. Is Save Me? Did you have any like personal story with that? I'm asking the spicy questions now.
Which one?
Which one? So it's more. I mean, the first one that wants to. No, just kidding.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely, I think we've all struggled in our lives at some point with this idea of commitment and pushing forward and what we need to do to make things work and struggling to make ends meet. I think it's a big, I think we've all experienced something like that. And that's why I think it is kind of relatable in that sense,
We've all had really bad relationships and come out the other end someone else.
Yeah. Well, you write good music that way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. All the best music comes from, I guess,
We're
the worst
emotionally unstable.
emotionally unstable times. Yes. So I kind of want to talk more about, I mean, you guys are so fresh, so new. So I guess what have you guys just been up to now? Just writing new music? Do you have any EPs or albums in the works?
We're actually in the studio right
We're in
now.
the
Yeah.
studio right now.
We're working with the producer right now. We're getting ready to put together an album, and it's coming along pretty fast.
Lonnie
really
James
fast.
over at Warcat Studios is doing it as well, so it sounds really, it's sounding good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very good.
How has that process been? Has it been, I guess, challenging or
Yeah,
maybe super easy?
Yeah, going into the studio like that is something where you go in, you come out a better musician.
Yeah.
Especially having to sit there and you have to listen to, it's not just a song that you wrote with the guys and everyone just kind of threw in there 10 cents. You have to break it down layer by layer, and
Yeah.
you'll understand your music a lot better.
yeah.
coming
Yeah,
into the studio.
especially for what, like on my end, I have to record a left guitar track and a right guitar track, and they've got to be the same, but they've got to be slightly different. So you've got to be creative and stuff that's going to work together, but it's also stuff that if I had to, I could play it live. Both sides. It's interesting.
That's
I
fun.
I got to play acoustic. Whenever we first tracked the song, I was playing acoustic guitar for the lead in, and then I had to go back and then play the acoustic part again for the stereo side. And we got, I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. I was just like, all right, just play along with it. So we're going to do this. About 3 seconds in, the music cuts out, and I just hear him from the other end goes, no, try again. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
It's a good time, though.
Yeah,
it's
he's
different.
definitely pushing us to be. He told us that he deals with a lot of musicians that come in and they just get lazy because they're like, oh, he can fix it. In a program, he can fix it. So they slack on their vocals, and he's like, I'll stop you if you're wrong. And he did. I know I stopped myself a bunch of times. Like I'd be playing something, and I'd be like, that was wrong, and I'd stop. I'd be like, nope, do it again.
Or the best thing is, do you think you can do that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that question a lot.
I don't think that.
Yeah. I feel like the answer is always yes. to
Yeah.
that. There's always
rock our butt lang.
Or you at least try to do better.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you can't, you can't. You just gotta try.
Yeah, I do think that being self-critical is such a valuable tool and such a valuable mindset as a musician that, and that's how we've been really great about expressing in this band is like, if something's off, we're going to say it. We're going to fix it. We're going to make our songs as good as we can. So going into the studio, I don't think it hurt us as much as probably
No,
some other.
because it's
artists.
just assertive, constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's told us people will go into the studio and then they will end the band right there. People quit the band
Yeah.
during the studio. I think we
It's
came out.
a real
I think we
test.
came out tighter for
Yeah.
it.
No, that's really cool. I think what he's doing is a very like formative way of preparing you all and growing you all as musicians, because listening is such a key part in making music. And so being able to listen to yourself and, like you said, self-critique yourself and like make yourself sound better each time is really important. So you all are making the album. I guess are there any details? Like, I guess is it a pretty big album?
We've got 2 songs done out of however many we're going to put on there. We
Yeah,
haven't
I believe-
either 8 or 10. We haven't
Yeah.
decided yet.
Mhm.
So
Do we Oh, sorry, I interrupted. Do we are we gonna hear kind of similar tunes like we just heard earlier, or is there any kind of variation, anything different?
Well, there's a few songs that are on the heavier spectrum, but they've all kind of got this. It's a Taylor Road sound. They all if you ever anybody that's ever seen us at our live shows knows that we have a sound, whether we're playing a softer song or a heavier song, we kind of have this.
Say, and Warped Hats Studios is really helping us bring that sound out even better. Because I've heard from a lot of people, I mean, they like the covers that we do, but everyone gets more into it if we get into our originals. You can kind of tell.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that a big part of that, especially the heavier songs we have, is that we're a 3-piece. I mean, we have 3, and especially on the heavier songs.
Yeah, because
only 3 members make
for
all the
probably
voice,
probably 75% of the songs he doesn't play rhythm guitar on because he's singing.
Yeah.
So it's just us 3 as a rhythm section. So he, playing bass, he is awesome because he's got to have something back. When I stop playing rhythm and go to lead, something's got to fill that void.
So there's a lot of creative problems you have to solve when playing in a 3-piece, and I know we've loved playing this heavier music because for a song that sounds similar to something like Take It, which you're about to hear, it's probably about 5 members, 6 members playing.
Yeah, like
two
when we
guitars
play,
and bass, and probably
we'll practice in the garage and we'll record it on our phones or something just to listen to, and it sounds really full for a 1 guitar and 1 bass and drums.
So finding those creative solutions, those issues, is something we've gotten pretty good at. We're pretty excited about.
That's interesting. I guess, would you all consider, adding to your band? Or do you feel like what you have, the 4-piece, is like a pretty good, solid set?
It depends on what happens down the line, I guess.
Yeah,
but for right now,
we're really enjoying the 4
yeah,
members, and it hasn't slowed us down at all.
No.
Finding solutions to problems is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So.
And the cool thing is, like, there have been days we all, like, when we would all work full time, if one of us couldn't make it, then we would still practice. The other 3 would still practice, and we would just find a way. I think that made us better too because we lacked 1 member, so we had to try to figure something out to make up for. Like if we were writing something, we would figure something out, and then when that 4th person would come back, they would just add another layer to what we've already built.
Yeah,
and it just gets better.
That's awesome. No, that's a great way of producing music too. It's just kind of seeing what everyone can bring to the table.
I was off for about a week or 2.
When you had your foot surgery?
I had a surgery on my foot, and that's when Reno and stuff was being wrote. So
we wrote All That's True.
They built that, and All That Is True.
Yeah, I wrote the drums for one of our originals.
You wrote like maybe 15 seconds of it.
Well, no, I wrote the just the very basic bare bones just to get you through the song. And then I was like, here's the tempo. This is what I did. Do whatever you want. And he's like, okay. But like I subbed in for him so that way they could, work on their dynamic stuff because I already knew what I was going to play.
I played a much better lead guitar.
That's I think that's another a cool thing is that when we're writing songs, we might the initial idea for the song might come on just about any instrument. A lot of us can play more than 1 instrument, so it's like sometimes
I think on Take It, you wrote the bass line for it, when
Yeah, I wrote a
me and
bass
him were
line
just
as well,
jamming in the
yeah.
garage, and I just come up with this riff
And I did the
and
lead
showed
guitar
it to
solo
him.
on it.
No, you. And I showed him what I was playing, and he wrote a bass line, and then he showed Jackson, and then Jackson took it and made it.
So that's when, yeah,
He
Jackson.
threw his own style on it, but
Yeah.
it all we just kind of all bounce it off each other.
So it's what happens whenever Jackson goes away to Michigan for a little bit. I'll come to the garage. The bass will be sitting on the couch, just looking at me. I'm like,
It's a tempting instrument.
It is. It's very tempting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I threw down that bass line. He threw down that guitar. It just fits so well.
Yeah.
Love those
That's-
moments.
No, that's cool. I think can learn a lot from each other from what you all bring to the table, especially if you're well versed in one instrument, but also can play different instruments or understand, I guess, different moving pieces in the music. Okay, one question I had, you Cameron, you had a broken foot. So,
That was me.
that was- so how
Yeah,
did
he
you
had-
play drums? That's the big question I had. Were you able, like, I guess, how did you recover or get back?
Yeah.
Can't play for 2 weeks. He said, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, basically, I kind of moved my drum set around in a way to where it was left foot dominant instead of my right, because my right foot was what I had it on. And so I reconfigured my drum set to where my left foot would be my main.
Oh,
And,
okay.
I played like that. And about after 2 weeks, I switched it back.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to, but
A
Hell was
lot of
gone, you were
doctors
good
were
to go.
ignored.
Yes.
That's the relation to that question.
Yeah. It's like your foot just had surgery on. He's got the boot on. It's like that's not gonna stop him.
Yeah.
And they got the time. I remember this like it was yesterday because it was one of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was at work. I was working in Lexington at these condos on East Main that they just built. And Braden here called me. He's like, "You talked to Steven yet?" I'm like, "No." "What's up?" He's like, "He hurt his hand." I was like, "What do you mean he hurt?" Wait, whoa. I was like, "Well, which one?" He's like, "I don't know. Just call him." So I called Steven on the phone. I'm like, "Steven," he's like, "Uh-huh." I'm like, "You hurt your hand?" He goes, "Uh-huh." I was like, "Which hand was?" He said, "Left hand," which is it's a spreading hand. It's a speed
Yep.
hand. It's what generates the fire on the fretboard.
I smashed it about 2 weeks before our first gig.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you recover? How did you? That's pretty spicy.
I did not listen to my doctors.
Damage tendons, it makes it better.
I had smashed it, and I immediately thought my hand was broken. So I went to the hospital, and they did X-rays, and they were like, "No, your hand's not broken." And I was like, "Well, what about nerve damage?" And they were like, "Well, you'll find that out when it stops hurting." And I was like, "Okay." And they taped these two fingers together because I smashed this vicinity of my hand, and I couldn't hold my hand, like my ring finger stayed like that constantly. And
two nights later,
I was
2
playing
hours set.
because I was like, I have to know. Like, I was having anxiety. I was like, I have to know if I have nerve damage in my hand.
Ooh.
So I had to play. So I took the little thing off that they had tying my fingers together, and I played, and all the strings felt fine. My hand was just still sore. A couple of days after that, when it quit hurting, I come back and played, and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And it just weight come off my shoulders because I was a nervous wreck.
Just one time I had a sore throat.
Oh,
Sore throat really scared me.
yeah, I was about to say if I smashed my hand and I had a gig to play in 2 weeks, I'd be terrified because I broke my ankle pretty severely. I had to get surgery on it. So ever since then, I'm like on the safe side of things when I break anything. I haven't broken anything since then, but it's a pretty big.
I'll knock on wood for you.
As soon as I did it, I was a nervous wreck because I was like, I play guitar. I just broke my hand. I could have nerve damage. I was like, this is going to set the band back. We've got a gig. Like all this stuff is just running through. And then I felt like I was going to pass out. I was like, great.
I said, on the phone, I was like, "Are you okay?" He said, "I don't know."
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I got to go to the hospital and find out.
Oh, that was terrifying. I called Jackson. He said, "That's not good."
The concern is real.
That's pretty hardcore, though. I feel like adds to the aesthetic of the band, perhaps, or is it?
I should have lied and said that I played the gig with a broken hand.
Yeah. We'll just put it in the book, dude.
Yeah, my hand was. I didn't even have a hand when I played that gig.
Didn't even
He had the
know.
prosthetic hand. I was moving his fingers for him.
Yeah, that's metal.
So
That's-
metal. Dude.
Yeah, no, that is pretty metal, I will say. Not gonna lie. So, aside from your all's injuries, I guess has there been any challenges that you've faced since you've all started? I guess in
COVID.
terms,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right around when we started that all that was going down, and so
Mhm.
Right before it got serious.
yeah, so that's when we knew we had to hunker down and keep practicing, keep working with no potential gigs in sight. It was just going to be, but
Which gave us a lot of free time to really get to know each other as
Yeah.
musicians. Not only like as people, but like,
Mhm.
yeah,
it gets to the point where we can play something and we just kind of know, how everybody's going to respond to something.
I would also
So-
say another challenging thing around the time when we first started is definitely cold weather. Because we come in the
Yeah.
garage and
Yeah.
it's 25 degrees and I can't feel my hands in them.
Oh,
now,
We were playing-
now we've kind of invested in a couple ways to keep this temperate.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I say
there was a
Jackson's
time when the temperature in here was all over the place. so-
Jackson's bass tone usually kept me pretty warm though.
Yeah.
wow.
The first couple months we were playing hoodies,
Yeah.
Coats.
and we had a kerosene heater in here running, and then we would turn it off, and then
The
when we
eyes
got
would
down,
burn.
we get
This
into
sounds
about,
like an airplane.
it'd get down to about
aircraft
50
carrier.
degrees, and we turn it back on, and we would
Yeah.
we practice like that from February up until about the end of April.
It's hard to play
Yeah.
when you can't feel your hands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then August we put an air conditioner in because it was way too hot in here.
So what you were saying about getting to know each other as people, man. I mean, I'd obviously me and him have been brothers now
Yeah.
since the other band. I've known Jackson for a while, but whenever we first started out, your main communications with me came in the form of pinch harmonics and dive bombs.
Yeah.
So definitely, I mean, yeah, definitely during the pandemic and everything, I've definitely got to know you a lot better, which is it's nice. Steven's a really cool guy. He drives a really loud truck. Hence the nickname Loud Pipes.
Oh my
And he
God.
will not play off my drum set.
No, it's really cool that you all have been, I guess, in a way, the pandemic is like a blessing in disguise, at least for at least both of you two to kind of get to know each other a little bit better, since you all had to, I guess just practice and do all that good stuff.
Silver behind every cloud.
Yes. And I know for a lot of different artists and bands too, everyone that I've asked, they've said the same thing, that with this pandemic, they've had a lot of time to really hone in on writing, composing music. So it's really cool to kind of see all the new music that's come out, since the pandemic hit. I feel like I've heard a lot more new music from local artists just because it's really difficult live shows to be able to support local bands, because I feel like for me personally, that's one of the primary ways I go out and support them is like go buy a ticket, go see them live. And then also live shows are amazing. I haven't been to one in a minute. I'm kind of jealous because
We got a show coming up Saturday.
Yeah.
If you want to come down
Oh.
to Harrisburg, come catch us.
Yeah.
oh
Or what's the name of the place?
Race Proven Performance. It's a car show in Harrisburg.
oh okay.
And I don't know what you're doing on Halloween. I don't know what you're doing on Halloween, but after trick or treating, Bourbon on Main in Lawrenceburg.
Bourbon
You're gonna
Street
have-
on Main.
Yeah, Bourbon Street on Main in Lawrenceburg. You're gonna have to come check us out. I'm gonna be wearing leather pants.
Your Rhode Island accent really came out of Lawrenceburg.
Going to Lawrenceburg, right?
That's interesting. You said a car show this weekend, and I was thinking I'm on the Formula team for the school. So I wonder if we're like doing something for that car show. I don't know if we are, but
It's a local dude from Harrisburg. He builds like Corvettes and Camaros and stuff. And goes to
oh
Harrisburg.
yeah.
He's got a bunch of buddies in the race community, and they're doing like, I don't know if you've ever heard of LS Fest in Bowling Green.
Absolutely. Yes. We the team goes and does volunteering for LS Fest every year.
His name's Jared Kokenauer, if you know who that is.
Oh, okay.
He builds LS stuff, and he's got a big shop, and he's doing dynos and stuff for his buddies and stuff, and he just wanted some live music, and he had heard us play at another gig in Harrisburg, and he was like, I like him. So he hollered at us, and wanted us to come by, and we were told him sure.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like this is very like fitting music for a car show. Like I would,
Yeah. And
I'd be
it's,
like,
I mean, it's local, but it's not because I mean, he's bringing buddies that he's raced with all over the state. You know, so
I'd
it's,
say all over the country at that
yeah,
point.
probably
as
all
big
over
as
the
he
country.
is.
Yeah.
Because he's got the world record for what, the fastest?
Well, I think he used to. He used to hold a world record for a 6-speed Corvette in a quarter mile, like 4 seconds or something like that. He's big into racing.
wow, that's pretty awesome. And I mean, you get a lot more exposure, you know, doing gigs like that, I guess, especially if there's a lot of people that are not from Kentucky that are there. So
Hopefully some labels might be looking at that.
alrighty, so we are going to take a short break and then we're going to jump right into our third song. So stay tuned and keep it locked all the way to the left.
This portion of WRFL's programming is made possible in part by Pops Resale. Pops Resale offers a selection of vintage records, clothes, and other collectibles. Pops Resale is located in the Meadowthorpe Shopping Center. More information, including their show calendar, can be found at popsresale.com. WRFL thanks Pops Resale for supporting college radio.
All right, and we are back here with WRFL Live. I'm your host, Allison, and I'm the local music director, and we are here with Taylor Road Band, and we're gonna jump right into their third song, Take It.
Trying to keep control, tie me down and try to shrink my soul. This life we lead is gonna take its toll. I got time to die when I grow old. You live your lives and you play your games, preaching all about your fortune in vain. Hide behind your money name, stabbing backs will lie over the grave. I don't want it. I don't need it. But if you want it, you can take it. Oh yeah. You never had no strife. You say you're rock and roll. You don't live that life. Not a high with no road to pay. You never self-aware. You're gonna lose your way. I don't give a damn what you got to say or what you think of me. I won't go away. Tell me what to do, I'll disobey. Best get the hell out of my way. If you want it, you can take it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. That was Taylor Road Band with Take It. And that's probably the heaviest of the set for this hour. I enjoyed it a lot. It was pretty great. I don't really listen to a lot of heavy music, but I kind of really dug it.
And so the key to listening to heavy music, you gotta get the head nodding to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta get the leather. You had the leather jacket. You had the ripped jeans, the boots. It was all ready. It's pretty
You gotta
sweet.
have to look to get the feel. Advice.
So, do you guys want to talk about Take It a little bit as well?
Yeah, sure.
I'll talk about it. Yeah, so Take It came. This was whenever you and your family were out in Michigan. So me and Steven were in the garage, and he comes up with this just awesome riff.
I had it, a variation of it.
I wasn't there.
For probably, I had it recorded on my phone for like 10 months or so. And I had messed around with it and turned it into what it is now. But I brought it and I was like, hey, listen to this. And I played it. And he's like, hold on.
So I was like, hold on. I was like, how about during the verse, you like, hit the one thing, have that bass line ringing out right there to give it that good, just like the subtlety where it's like, okay, we're getting in the groove of this, we're feeling it. But believe it or not, a lot of those lyrics came out of a little bit of anger and a little bit of frustration.
You don't say.
Right? But a lot of what that comes from is like out in Hollywood and stuff, these super wealthy, actors, actresses, of course, other musicians, that have sort of become disconnected from reality a little bit, up on their high horse telling us how we need to live our lives, and then that's kind of us sticking it back. Don't want to hear about it, don't need your advice, we're doing things the way we want to do it.
I love that. That's pretty cool.
That's also been a theme for the band since we started, was like, we're all, if you get a Taylor Road 100%, it's 25% of each of us.
Yeah.
So, everybody's equal. We don't make a decision unless everybody's okay with it.
Yeah,
we've scrapped a bunch of, like when we were learning covers and stuff, we scrapped a bunch of covers because it was not unanimous.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're a machine, and if all the parts aren't working together, then the machine don't work. So that's kind of been that song's kind of a theme too, is it's like, we're going to do our thing, and if you like it, not, it is what it is.
So definitely of our originals, Take It has a very high level for me, because it's a lot of our songs, especially because Jack here is a magnificent poet. He is. I don't care what anyone says. His lyrics are so deep and meaningful. That song, I mean, there's not too much to read into there. It's an easier listen, and it's direct and to the point.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And Braden wanted a breakdown, so we wrote a breakdown.
Yeah. An awesome breakdown in there. The mosh too.
Yeah, he's like, I want to do double bass and ride my China, so that's what we did.
Gotta show the China some love.
Yeah, gotta show the China.
Definitely the best symbol.
I know. I remember the first time I heard that riff. I was like, my exact words. Wait, hold on. Let me grab a pen and paper real quick. Play that again.
Yeah, he was just sitting there on his phone. I started playing it, and it was just like one of those moments where you just look up and you're like, hold on.
We got something here.
Hold on. No, that's super cool. So we're getting at about 6 minutes, so I want to get in some good questions and before we wrap up. So what does the future of the band look like to you all? What's kind of next? I know you have your album coming up, but is there anything else, anything new, or anything you all are hoping to achieve?
The only thing we got coming up next is on the 24th, Race Proven Performance in Harrodsburg at 7 p.m. And then on the 31st, Bourbon Street on Main. We're going to be wearing costumes. We encourage anyone to come there to wear a
See us
costume.
play music wearing a costume.
If you want to
Yes.
see me in an 80s rocker outfit with leggings on, then come on out.
Yeah, immediately we have those 2 gigs and then studio time.
Yeah.
After that, hopefully more gigs and stuff, or if there's nothing going on, then we can just take the winter off and work on
we're
writing some more
definitely
stuff.
looking forward to moving outside of just the central Kentucky.
Yeah,
We kinda
because
wanna-
we
yeah,
played
Louisville,
mostly
Cincinnati,
Harrodsburg,
places
Danville,
like
Lawrenceburg
that.
area, just that same little section of 127. So it'd be nice to play somewhere else.
Branch out a little
We've got, I think in November we're going to Burnside down by Somerset, and we've got a gig down there.
Oh, that would
Which
be
that's
fun.
way out of our comfort zone right there.
Yeah.
So
No, but that's good. You guys are kind of broadening your horizons, playing gigs at different places, kind of, reaching out of the Kentucky area, maybe hopefully out of Kentucky, or you all wanting to stay in Kentucky?
plan.
Maybe out of the nation.
Kentucky can be real fun.
Yeah,
I
a special place.
Yeah.
You ever been to Florida before?
have been to Florida.
Florida before? It's beautiful out there. It is. I love Florida. Also, the news articles from Florida are always hilarious.
It's crazy. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I think my roommate was just talking about Florida news today. Just how outrageous you hear news stories out from Florida.
If you see a headline that says Florida man, no, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
It's
well, greatest anti-hero. Yeah. It's basically Batman. I don't know.
It's every Florida headline like Mad Libs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Florida man just
Picking
Right,
animals,
yes.
what he did, you just put in some random stuff, and there's your
There
article.
you go.
So if I want to find any of your music, where should I go? Are you all on Spotify, Bandcamp?
Not yet.
We're not
Not
on
yet.
Spotify yet, but you can go to our Instagram or our Facebook.
Yes, Instagram is Taylor Road Official. Facebook is Taylor Road Band.
Yeah. And then we've got a YouTube that we've kind of been lacking on a little bit, but we've got 2 covers up on it.
Yep. If you like White Snake and Rage Against the Machine, you're gonna
Yeah.
love us.
And then
Sick.
we'll
Yeah.
definitely probably have like the a couple more originals videos here soon on
Yeah.
our YouTube. So if you wanna
And
check
then,
that out.
once we get the album done, the plan is to go Spotify, Apple Music, that route.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So that way we got something to share it. And then, we'll probably make some CDs just to hand out, sell some, whatever.
So, but definitely right now, especially to people who are listening into the Lexington area, if you want to come listen to some music and come see us, get 3 of your best friends, a bag of beef jerky, a thing of Mountain
And
Dew,
a face mask.
and a face
And a
mask.
Face mask.
Some Purell. You
Purell.
hop in that,
Well,
you drive on down to Harrodsburg, you drive on over to Lawrenceburg and come check us out live.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah, live is our only,
It's our output right
yeah,
now.
that's the only thing we got's live right now.
Or we come to the garage and hang out, but if you got a lot of content prior to that, don't
Yeah.
just show up. Came here to see the band, like they're not here right now.
Yeah, so Instagram, Taylor Road Official, Facebook, Taylor Road Band. I think the YouTube is Taylor Road Band as
Yeah,
well.
Taylor Road Band.
Yeah, Taylor Road
Yeah.
Band.
So that's all we got so far.
It's got our beautiful faces on it. You'll get to see us.
we love it. We love the beautiful faces. So I got a fun question for you all before we leave. So it's for each of you. If you were on a desert island and you were stuck with one album, what would it be?
Oh, crap.
Hmm.
Are double albums in play?
Or double albums in play? Sure, I'll allow it this time.
Oh my goodness.
Huh.
Why you gotta ask something like that?
I know. I love asking it though. It's such a fun question.
Say Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie.
That's
I
good.
think
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I think the first time I listened to that album really blew my mind.
I'm
If
gonna
I-
go the White Album, the self-titled album from Avenged Sevenfold would be my album on a desert island.
Honestly, I was thinking the exact same thing.
That would be
Gotta go Avenged Sevenfold. Also, rest in peace to the ref. And also,
what I mean?
Mom and Dad, if you're listening, hello, I love you.
Probably the only album that I've ever listened to that I've listened to every single song without skipping it is Master of Puppets from Metallica.
Oh, that's great.
That
It's a
every other album I've listened to it from start to finish, and I'll hear like the beginning of a song and I'm like, and I'll skip it, and then I'll go back and listen to it again later, and I'm like, oh, that's a
I'm
pretty
also
good
an
song.
impatient listener. I
But
understand.
Master of Puppets, I put it on and I listened to the entire album. I didn't skip a song and go back to it later. Like I listened to the entire album, so I'd have to say Master of Puppets.
Actually, I'm revoking my answer. The White Album is amazing. I gotta go.
Van Halen 1.
I'm gotta go Van Halen, The Collection.
Rest in
It's
peace.
a collection.
It's a collection. It is an album. It's a long album though.
Respect.
I love Van Halen. Also, rest in peace, Eddie.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Huge influence on me for sure.
He was a great one.
All righty. So we are actually at 10 p.m. So I just want to thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thank
in
you
this
for having
virtual WRFL live. Be sure to tune in next week. We've got Gail Eakins performing with us, and that'll be really fun. So I hope you all have a good night, and be sure to tune in tomorrow, every day, all day at WRFL 88.1 Lexington.
I know I'll be listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for